Hi boys and girls, today in science we are on lesson 1, how can we classify plants, and it's on page 289. It says the sticky parts of the sundew plant catch insects. How is this sundew like an orchid? So I put a little star here, and when we're all done we'll go back in and fill in that question. Sorting plants. There are so many plants. How can you classify them or group them? Let's find out. One way to classify plants is to group them by their type. For example, think about how all trees are the same or how all shrubs are the same. Another way to classify plants is to look at their parts. You can group plants that have similar leaves, stems, or roots. Kinds of plants. There are many kinds of plants. Vines, trees, and shrubs are 3 kinds of plants. Vines have long, thin stems. Trees are woody plants that grow tall. Trees have one main stem. Shrubs are similar to trees, but smaller and with many stems. Plant parts. One plant part you can use to classify a plant is its leaves. Look at their shape, color, and size. Pine needles are long, thin, and green. Maple leaves have many points. They can be many different shades of green. Palm leaves are very large and fan-shaped or feather-like. Take a look down here. It says, how else can you classify plants? Now, one way we can sort them is by the color of the flower. So go ahead and take a few minutes to draw 2 plants that you can classify either by the flower's color or come up with a different way that you can classify plants. Blooming. Roses, tulips, daisies, how are they the same? Read on to find out. Plants that make flowers are classified as flowering plants. Flowering plants are the largest plant group. They are found in deserts, rainforests, and even underwater. The flowers of plants have many sizes, colors, and shapes. Let's look at some. You can see down here the corpse flower is the largest flower of all. It can weigh more than 20 pounds. Orchids are the largest family of flowering plants. Let's take a look at our questions up here. Does it make flowers? We do know that these two, the orchids and the corpse flower, makes flowers, and they also make seeds. We also have the hibiscus plants, and they grow flowers all year long, so they make flowers and seeds as well. Flowers may look pretty, but they have a job to do. They make fruits with seeds. Oranges and strawberries are examples of fruits with seeds. Each seed has a new plant inside it. We also have the magnolia trees, and they grow large pink flowers. Next it says, write the number of petals on each flower, then draw a flower that could complete each pattern. You can see here that I counted each of the flower's petals. We have 3 on this first flower, 6. This one was left blank, but I did notice that this one was 12. So we can skip count 3, 6, 9, 12. So make sure that your flower has 9 petals. On the right side, this one had 5 petals, 10 petals, and 15 petals, leaving this one at 20. 5, 10, 15, and 20. Cones. Not all plants make flowers. Some plants make seeds in other ways. Non-flowering plants are plants that do not make flowers. Even though they do not make flowers, many non-flowering plants make seeds. Pine trees are non-flowering plants. Their seeds develop inside cones. Take a look at other plants that make seeds in cones. Here we have a sequoia tree. Sequoia trees grow very tall, but they make small cones. You can see that there. We also have joint firs, and they grow in dry places, and they also make small red cones. Here, these are Eastern Cape cycads, and they make cones just like the ones shown above. So let's go back here to this page. It says, does it make flowers? No. But does it make seeds? Yes. The next one says, read the riddle, then write the answer. I am very tall. I grow small cones compared to my size. What am I? When we look at this page, we don't see any of the taller plants we just read about. But on the previous page, we see the tall sequoia tree. And even though it's very tall, their cones are really small. So go ahead and fill that in as your riddle answer. A sequoia tree. Even more. Plants with flowers make seeds. Plants with cones make seeds. Do all plants make seeds? Find out. Mosses and ferns are also non-flowering plants. Mosses are small, soft plants. They often grow together in groups. Ferns are larger plants with leaves called fronds. Mosses and ferns do not make flowers, cones, or seeds. They make spores. Like seeds, spores are plant parts that can grow into new plants. Take a look down here. It says mosses can grow on rocks and trees. Mosses do not grow tall. This green carpet is actually made up of many tiny moss plants. Let's take a look at some more. Ferns. Ferns have leaves called fronds. Each leaf has smaller leaflets that branch off from the stem. Spores. Spores are released from the stalks of this moss. In ferns, spores form in small groups on the underside of the fronds. Each group contains hundreds of spores. And then down here, we have the staghorn fern that grows on trees. So go back to the previous page, and let's take a look. If it flowers and makes seeds. Does it make flowers? No. And does it make seeds? No. All right, and take a look down here. It says read each statement. Circle T if the statement is true, and F if it is false. We have spores are seeds. Go ahead and try it out if it's true or false on your paper. Spores are found in cones. Circle true or false. Mosses do not make flowers. Ferns make flowers. And mosses do not make seeds. Circle true or false. And let's check to see how you did. Spores are seeds. That is false. Spores are found in cones. Also false. Mosses do not make flowers. True. Ferns make flowers. False. And mosses do not make seeds. That is true. Now I want you to take a look at the Sum It Up on page 298. It says the idea web below summarizes the lesson. Give 2 examples of each type of plant described below. But we're going to encourage you to try to see if you can find 3 of each. So in our center one, it says main idea. There are many ways to classify plants. Over here, plants can be sorted into many types. Go back in your text and write down 3 different kinds of plants that you learned about. Number 2, flowering plants. This is the largest group of plants. These flowers make seeds. Go back in your text and find 3 examples of flowering plants. Number 3, non-flowering plants with cones. Plants with cones do not make flowers, but they do make seeds. Seeds form inside the cones. Go back in your text and write down 3 types of non-flowering plants with cones. And then lastly, number 4, non-flowering plants with spores. Some plants make spores, but do not make seeds. Spores make new plants. This time, go ahead in your text and only find 2 examples that we read about of non-flowering plants with spores. Now take a look at page 299, the brain check. Read the clues and unscramble the letters to complete the clue. When you group something, you blank it. Number 2, some plants make tiny blank instead of seeds. Number 3, blank grow on some non-flowering plants and hold new seeds inside them. Number 4, plants with blank, such as roses and daisies, are the largest group of plants. Number 5, blank plants are small, non-flowering plants that grow from spores. And number 6, blank have special leaves called fronds. Remember to unscramble what you see on the right and go back in the text to help you. Let's turn to our last page on 300, apply concepts. Write the letter of the correct description under each picture. A, I grow seeds and make flowers. Who am I? B, I grow seeds, but they form in cones. Who am I? C, I don't grow flowers or seeds. Who am I? So write the letters A, B, or C under each of these plants. And lastly, number 3, suppose scientists find a new kind of plant in a rainforest. What are 3 questions they might ask to help them classify or group the plant? Be sure to go back in and see how did we classify each of those plants. And then lastly, before we end, let's go back to our question. The sticky parts of the sundew plant catch insects. How is this sundew like an orchid? This sundew plant is like an orchid because it has flowers and it also makes seeds.